Good morning, and thank you for joining. This is our Thursday morning gathering brought to you by Point 32 Health, which is the parent company of Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. This session is fully guided, so for those of you that might be joining for the first time, it's usually 12 to 14 minutes in length, and we save a little bit of time at the end for Q&A, and for sharing any resources that you've come across that you want to offer to the community. So that could be a book or a podcast, an app, or something that has supported your practice that's been helpful. So we save time at the end for that. But I thought I would just do a quick morning check-in question and just see how you are. So the question simply is, how are you this morning? And while folks are thinking and kind of gathering their thoughts, you can just put it in the chat, a word or a phrase or something. I'll start. I think, I think that I feel like I woke up this morning just feeling kind of a sense of commitment to the things that I care deeply about. My commitment to racial justice, my commitment to listening to views that are different from my own. I also feel committed to fully embracing the uncertainty of what is ahead. So regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, there is a lot of uncertainty. And this practice has been so incredibly helpful to me around how to engage with things we are not sure about or we don't know what's going to happen. And again, the idea of just fully feeling into that as well. I think that especially when there are difficult or troubling emotions, which could be either side of the political spectrum, because there's a lot of unknowns ahead for us, is that I don't want to mobilize first, and because I think there can be a tendency to just move into action of some kind. And I feel like having space, having silence, feeling into the experience of what is uncertainty feel like, where is it showing up in my body? What does grief feel like? Where is that showing up in my body? What is excitement or joy or, whatever one might be feeling, and how does that show up in the body? And the recognition and the remembrance that these things are all of a transient nature. They arise. And so in a lot of ways, when things feel really good, the capacity to feel fully into them with the knowledge that they will change actually increases the pleasure, the feeling, the joy, because there is a depth of understanding of the nature, the impermanent nature. And when things are not so good, resting in the changing nature of everything is, you can fully feel into that. And so I think my commitment it has been to, fully embrace the mix of emotions that I feel, fully step into what does not knowing feel like, and how can I relate to it, and how can I engage it in a way that is supportive to me, helpful to me, and of course, like self-compassion practices. So I want to see what's coming in, because I haven't been reading them as I've been, today worse than yesterday. Still exhausted, but slowly dusting myself off. Doing well, comfort and feeling like I did, shared with many people. Stepping into it. Yep. Um, yeah. Just appreciating the sunshine. And it's like, I keep also reminding myself that it's actually that two things can coexist. I can recognize, the beauty of what is around me, of nature, of, that this day is starting out like many days start. People are on their way to work, they're engaging with their families, or they're involved in their daily routines amidst a huge upheaval in our political environment. So, with that said, uh, let's go ahead and just, fully step into the uncertainty that we are facing. There's a lot of unknowns, and this practice can just help us relate to and engage with it in a way that doesn't throw us so off kilter. Um, it's a practice of seeing clearly how things are, not how we wish they were or think that they should be, but the clarity of here's what is. So with that, I just would urge you to take a really comfy posture today. So, usually in like seated or standing, you want to have a spine that is straight, but I'm actually going to have you just sort of relax, see if you can relax a bit, but still have some of course, have some engagement in the body. But even, just kind of release your belly and just, ah. So take 2 deep breaths on your own, making the exhalation a little longer than the inhalation. So settle in with the breath, letting go of all that has already happened this morning and releasing anticipation of what's to come, and allowing yourself to just fully arrive here, arriving together in this really, really precious community that we have formed over the past few years, and feeling supported by the community, by our shared desire to live in a world that is peaceful and safe. And just see what physical expression is happening in your body now. So it could be like points of contact with the back of the body and the surface. I know it could be the heartbeat or a vibration or a tingling that you're noticing in your body. And always, again, points of contact is a good place to start. Just receiving whatever your body is offering. You don't have to create any kind of special conditions. Really allowing whatever is there, whatever has arisen, whether it feels comfortable or uncomfortable. Allow is a phrase that I will often use. Just simply allow, even if it's unpleasant, and work with the narrative in the head about it if it's unpleasant. And always what's going to support you is just dropping into the physical body, the expression in the physical body. So the narrative can be really circular and not all that helpful. So I imagine everybody knows exactly what I mean. So really watching where the mind is going, even as Joseph Goldstein would say, is it helpful? Is it helpful? And dropping into your body. So this is a kind of care and love for yourself by just softening and receiving whole body awareness. And take a moment to expand your sense of awareness of body beyond that to include sound in the room or outside of the room. Aware of the sounds in your environment. In a way, just simply they are grounding you to this moment. where there is nowhere else to be and nothing else to do, but be together in our shared experience, whatever the emotional experience is, sharing that with the community and really holding it together. And let's go ahead and scan the body again. So bringing awareness to the top of the head, the sides of the head, the back of the head, come around to the face, holding your entire head, face, top, sides, back. See if you can release any holding in the jaw or around the eyes. Just to the degree that you can, releasing, softening, and feeling sensation or noticing a lack of sensation. And coming down over the neck and shoulders, bringing with it a sense of care for yourself, bringing in a sense of ease. Coming down now over the arms, upper forearms, hands, holding this part of your body in isolating this part of your body and see what's there. And coming down over the torso. So the front of the body and the back and internally, again with care, and just receiving the sensations. Perhaps there's a point of contact that you're aware of or the heartbeat. And moving down over the hips and thighs. And perhaps there's a point of contact you're aware of. Just receiving the sensations in this part of your body. And coming around to the knees, to the lower legs, and sweeping down through the feet. So the tops and the toes and the soles and the heels. Aware of sensation, aware of lack of sensation, aware of pleasant or unpleasant, maybe neither, and just receiving. And coming back now to the whole body to see if there are any areas that are calling for your attention. And just for a moment, let's narrow the focus of attention, tracking the breath at the belly or the abdomen or the nostrils. You could even go wider than that, perhaps aware of the movement of the whole body, and feeling into that as you inhale and exhale. You can also use sound, or you could clasp your hands together, and the feeling of the touch, the point of contact, could be where you anchor your attention. You could put your palms on your thighs, and the feeling could be where you anchor each time the mind wanders. So just for a couple minutes, and I'll be silent for the next 2 minutes. And as we bring this practice to an end, I'm going to conclude with another poem, and you can move your tracking your attention to the words, called "Healing Journey" by Dana Falls. Go gently into this good day, appreciating the play of opposites, the way sunlight chases frost crystals off the grass blades as dawn melts into morning. Take the one step you can take right now, open to whatever comes, whether it meets your expectations or shatters them into 1,000 sparkling shards. Go gently into this good day, faith rising to the occasion, fear receding just enough to reveal the next step on your journey. So, as we bring this practice to a close, may we be peaceful and at ease. May our hearts be soft and open. May we be safe and protected, and our bodies healthy and strong. And may whatever good comes of our practice be of benefit to all beings. So, taking a moment to reorient to the room that you're in, usually just kind of look around, do a bit of a stretch. Um, and so we've got we have a couple minutes, we've got like 10 minutes. So I wanted to just share that before I forget, that the next kind of riding the waves of uncertainty, the session I did before the election, I'm doing one next week on Wednesday, and I just put that in the chat. So it'll be similar, but it will be different too, because we know we have more information than we did. So so we can just like open it up and check in with each other and see what ideas or questions or books or apps or podcasts or anything that you all have been listening to that you think would be valuable for the community, or anything else that you want to say, either about your practice, about how you're feeling, questions. Really, we'll just open up the floor. And of course, if anybody needs to hop off, we can do that too. But we always save time at the end. Oh, you're welcome, Denise. Yes, these poems are from one book. I'll put it in there. Yeah. Okay, so the book is called Breath of Joy, and oh, it's Dana. And it's funny. This book, I was on a 6-week silent retreat, and on the at IMS, Insight Meditation in Barrie. This was a few years ago, and you have jobs, right? So I took out the trash. That was my job, but I was doing it with another woman, and you don't talk, unless it's a practical need to talk. So for all of these weeks, I'm, working with this woman. And then at the end, and her name was Joy, but she gave me this book. So the book is really, really special. And Heather, are you saying, is it a meditation based on the election results? So the webinar, oh gosh, I think it's at noon, although, let me see. Hang on. Okay, hang on, everybody. I am going to tell you in just a minute. Maybe I'm not going to tell you in just a minute. Hold on. So yeah, it's 12. It's actually, no, it looks like it's 12 to 12:30, but it would definitely be in the 12 to 12:30. Yeah. Yeah, Jamie, we are since my different political views, these sessions have been helping me. Great. Oh, great, Denise. Yeah. So the practices that we did the week prior to the election, and then the one that's going to be next week, is really just allowing an opportunity to come together around uncertainty, and everyone, regardless of political view, is welcome. I think that there have been just a whole array of feelings and emotions, and it's an opportunity. So in the session, I give a couple of like tips and techniques, things you can do on the fly that are really helpful. Box breathing is a breathing practice. The other is how to recognize your emotions and how to work with them using an acronym. So, the other thing I would say is, even if you attended the one before the election, the one after will be somewhat similar. But my experience in these practices over many years is that repetition is so helpful, is valuable, is important. And, it's not like all of a sudden, oh yeah, I get it. I know that. Because as we practice, the more we practice, the more we sort of uncover these layers and the depth of what this actually means to relate to and engage with whatever has arisen starts to transform and have a little bit of a different meaning. So it's like an onion that has all these layers. I think about my early years of practice and how I was understanding this compared to now, like almost 30 years of practice. And it's not as if difficult emotions don't arise, or fears or whatever, but the working with it, relating to it, is what has felt different. Yeah, for anger. So yeah, and oftentimes, Teresa, what's beneath anger tends to be grief or sadness. anger can be almost like it's just top of comes right up, a little bit easier to actually feel and feel some solidity and groundedness in. But if you hang with that for a little bit, you will see that usually there's some grief or sadness that's just under the surface of that. So, in the working with it or the turning toward it with anger is simply the catching of the stories, because there's a narrative in the head around it. And then as soon as you see that, you drop into the physical body. So just release that story, that whatever, narrative has been going on, and just feel physically what's happening. How is anger showing up? Is it heat? Is it contraction? Where is it most noticeable? Like, and this is true with every emotion, every emotion. Like, where am I noticing this, and what's the texture? What does it actually feel like, as opposed to thinking about? So you're coming out of the kind of the intellect, the perseverating, and dropping into the whole body. And dropping in phrases of, may I be well? May I hold this moment with care? May I fully appreciate what has arisen? We don't always call these things forth. They arise in us. And, may I see it, feel it, embrace it, turn toward it, as opposed to wallowing or getting lost in those narratives, the stories, because they tend to be so circular. Um, and there's nothing wrong with that either. I mean, but seeing it and then seeing that it tends to not be helpful, but working with your body and bringing that sense of care and space, you know. Others, anything else that's arising for you? Any questions? Yesterday in a professional women's group from Rooted, how movement helps. Yes, yes. Um, I think I did say this yesterday, but movement practices when we're feeling really unsettled are super helpful. And in part, that's one of the reasons I do the body scan. It's not, you're not physically moving, but you're actually moving your attention, and you're feeling what's in the different parts of your body. But certainly, getting out in nature and just being aware of your surroundings, being aware of scent, being aware of how your body feels as you're moving. Those are all really, movement practices are super helpful. I would also encourage like yoga, tai chi, qigong, any of those practices, and there's so much available at no charge. And thank you, both the Teresas and Amy. I'm glad it was helpful. It is really useful to be together in our wonderful community. So thanks, everybody. Newly washed and waxed car. I've been putting this on. Yeah, that's great. Um, yeah, so I think reading good books, interesting books. Um, Amy Tan, the author, just wrote a book about birds and in her backyard, and I found it so relaxing and beautiful to read. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. So Amy Tan, and I think it's called Backyard Birds, maybe, but it's her notes over years actually of noticing birds in her yard and getting to know them. So I would encourage that at this time as well if there's any interest there. So okay, I think that's it for now, and I just wish everybody a peaceful day, and I'll see you next week. Okay, bye.